Okay, so my understanding is we're going to start off with, at least we're going to try to start off with Dale.
We only got we got three. So
Two.
How about that ghost behind you?
we got three scouts to do their report. That's as long as Kellen is participating.
He's
Ah,
okay.
yeah.
You can
So
get that merit badge. You still
what,
are
what,
old enough.
why don't we start off with Kellen if he doesn't mind?
Oh, yes, the homework that I prepared. Um,
Hey, no fair googling right now.
no Googling right now. I guess one thing that I was interested in for a short period was a disc jockey or a DJ, radio DJ, which my mom was for 9 years. So hearing her explain just the technical details and everything like that of everything, there's it's not just talking over the air. It's knowing the frequencies, knowing how to cue things up for radio. Um, scheduling time slots and everything like that, and then the technical knowledge of stuff like that by going through and knowing frequencies, knowing what's going to go out over the air, what you can and can't put out over the air in a commercial setting, things like that interested me.
A good place for education for that is Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Mm.
That's where I had attended for doing TV and radio, even though that didn't work out for me as a career, uh, because things just don't work out sometimes. But that's just a little tech school that y'all can go to, and it teaches you about the radio and television production, like news, the actual technical aspects of it, including running the board for as a DJ, knowing how to put things out over the air and things of that nature. All right, let's move on to CJ.
All right. My subject is like announcer. I've had I haven't had experience being an announcer, but I've had experience with podcasts. And from the research I've done, I've concluded that they're similar. And I remember all the effort that went into that, the preparation, looking up the different facts, um, proofreading, double checking the script, doing uh, the audio tests to make sure you sound good. Should you pitch it, like make your voice a little bit higher, more, pronunciate more? I remember doing that, and I still kind of dislike it to this day, but it was certainly a interesting thing and something to learn, especially early on in childhood.
Like what you're describing most is a host, not an announcer.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, I actually also have experience with podcasting because I'm part of a podcast group myself. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Podcasts don't make much money.
Why do you
It's
think we
more of
stopped?
it's more of a
Hobby.
yeah, it's a hobby. It's more of a project of love, that sort of thing.
DJs don't make much money either. I have firsthand experience in that one.
I have done a bunch of research on radio announcers, and radio announcers make $21,000.
Ian, we can't hear you.
Oh, now?
A
Better.
little better.
Come closer.
The mic.
No, you have to come closer. That's as far as it goes.
I've done a little bit of research on radio announcers, and they make $21,000 to $97,000 per year in the U.S. And radio announcers also work 24 hours a day, but they can vary from announcer to announcer. And there are 15,330 U.S. radio stations, and most radio announcers have an alias, and basically what it looks like in the room where they're doing the announcing and stuff is they have like a microphone, headphones, and like a soundboard, and many radio stations get on the air for under $15,000 and can stay on the air for less than $1,000 per month. And you can start an internet radio station for free.
Okay, thank you. So it sounds to me like pretty much everybody got pretty much this exact same job that they researched. But that's really cool. All right, well, I guess we'll toss it over to Dan.
Okay. Yeah, I got it back. The ball came to me, and the ball's immediately going to Lee.
All right. What we're going to begin this week is personal. First of all, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will carry on. This is going to be personal fitness, and it is an Eagle required merit badge, and it broken into two parts. We're going to do there's the actual exercises that we're going to do, and then there's the book learning. Book learning we will address later. Right now, I'm going to get into some of the what we are going to do as far as the actual exercises. I've got 4 exercises that we're going to do, not virtual. You're actually going to do them, and we'll get into how we're going to observe those. I'll get into it right now. Granddaughter during the COVID was a student at the dance school here in town, and since they couldn't meet, what we did was we had the screen pulled over to the side of the desk that it's on, and the teacher actually watched them dance. Well, guess what? We're going to watch you exercise. So one of the challenges is everybody going to need the room so that you can get your screen so that you can be doing the exercises. We have 4 exercises that we're going to do. This is going to be every week for 6 weeks. And the first one we're going to do is push-ups. Then we're going to do sit-ups. Then we're going to do squat thrusts. Then we're going to do a stationary jump and measure the distance on that. And then something you're going to do on your downtime between meetings is you're going to run the equivalent of a mile, and you're going to time that. Now, I'm going to throw this over to Kellen again, or Kellen as we start out with. Kellen, think back. Would you have liked to have done your personal fitness like this?
Yeah. I actually, what I was doing is I was pulling out, I found this the other day. This is my personal fitness chart.
Yeah. I got a copy of it, so don't be changing it. We had to meet every other week, and we met down at Sunset Lake, and they had a mat down, and they had to do their push-ups, they had to do their sit-ups. We had this bar that they had to extend, and we measured their flexibility, and then we ran a mile, and we timed it. So doing it this way, compressing it down, and the reason we're going to do it in 6 weeks is since you're not attending school and you're not really getting the extra exercise, this is an exercise program, and I'll have some hints along the way what we're going to do to improve your times and amounts. With those 4 exercises, what I'll be doing is I will time you. We will give you 1 minute to do as many push-ups as you can. Then we're going to do the sit-ups, the squats, thrusts, and then the stationary jump. What I'm suggesting is like put a piece of tape on the floor, put your feet, your toes behind that line, and then jump Now you can either have something in your hand that you can lay behind your heel and then get a tape measure. You'll have to get access to a tape measure and then measure it. And you're going to be doing your own counts. You're going to be doing your own measuring. Same with that mile run. Somehow, some way, you can get a course set up. What I would do is get somebody in a vehicle to drive a circle from the house to back to the house, half mile out, half mile back in. You can time yourself. I need it in both minutes and seconds, and no hours are allowed. You're going to be aiming for approximately, you shouldn't have to go much over 10 minutes for a 10-minute mile. I think the most any of the scouts have ever taken is like 15 minutes to do. And you're going to be doing that. And we're going to chart, like Kellen held up that chart that he had, also known as a graph. And you can tell the weeks and the amount that he got. And as the time proceeded, like those are the amounts that he did on sit-ups and push-ups. And boom, that last one, he kicked rear end on that. Was that the sit-ups?
That was push-ups.
Push-ups. You did 35? Wow. Excellent. So anyway, that's kind of the improvements that I'd like to see in each one of you. But keep in mind, you, CJ, who are you going to be competing against?
What are my options?
Me. He's
Who
going
am
to
I
compete against
options?
Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
be competing against yourself. So it doesn't matter
okay.
what the other person, like Dan's probably going to do it. And he's going to knock out about 40 push-ups. Don't try to keep up with him.
Oh, I was gonna go up against Kellen, but okay.
No. Well, he might share that chart after it's over, but that's you are competing against yourself. So I'll come back and address all that once again before we exit tonight. We'll be doing this, as I said, for the next 6 weeks. We'll do the exercises. I'm going to be go. You're going to do the exercises, and then you will tell me how many you did. I'll mark it down. We'll go to the next one. Should take about 20 minutes to do our exercises. And then I've got some of, I refer to it as book learning. We'll do some of that. And that's going to be each week we'll be working a test that we have. But since we don't have the classroom situation that you can actually turn stuff in, we're going to do it, we're going to walk you through it, I'm going to give you the information, you're going to write it down, and then I'm going to ask a question on what you just wrote down. So you will need to have as a matter of fact, does everybody have access to a pencil and a piece of paper? I'm going to have some things that I'm going to be giving you here along the way. Anybody not have access to one? Of course, there's those. Well, you're going to be doing a recording for Aaron, right? Okay. So, right, the first thing you're going to be write down push-ups, followed by sit-ups, squat thrust, S-Q-U-A-T, thrust.
Yeah, and Lee,
Yes.
on those squat thrusts, they're going to need plenty of demonstrations on how you do it. Like
Okay,
about
I've got Corey right here. My next question is going to be, does anybody not know the basics of a push-up, sit-up, squat thrust?
I do not know what a squat thrust is.
Me neither.
Okay, you're going to be standing straight up. You're going to drop down to like squat down, putting your two hands on the floor and then kicking your legs out to almost a push-up position. Then you're going to bring those legs right back up, and then you're going to stand up. And when you stand up, you throw your hands above your head, and that's one.
It's also it's also called the burpee, by the way.
Oh, this is other things my mom has been telling me to do in my workouts lately, especially the burpees.
Okay. I thought that's
She
what
brought you
you
up to do this, didn't she?
I thought that that's something you tied around the baby's neck, so when it catches the
Well, that's
was
the
a
common
burpee.
name of the exercise.
Yes, okay, then we'll call them burpees also. And and then the stationary jump. Once again, I would suggest putting a piece of tape on the floor, put your toes behind it, jumping, have something in your hand that you can put behind your heel, and then you'll be measuring it. And that's I'll need that in just inches. And then also each night that we meet, as in Monday nights, you'll have measured and run your mile, and you'll give me those totals. So as soon as we start the night, you'll already have your mile done, and then we're just going to do those exercises, and then we'll finish up the night with. Yes, I got a question there.
Yes, the mile, do they run a mile every week that we do it, or they run a mile? Okay, so every single week they're running a mile.
Running a mile, and you can do it any day. Just
Okay.
but be consistent. I mean, even if you don't have the exact a mile, you just run the same course every time. And like I said, it should be close to about a 10-minute run, and it should be, you should be able to get within 1/10 of a mile or so of a mile by just going from your driveway drive out till you get a half a mile, and then turn around and come back. And then whoever is doing the run, go to whatever that thing is. If it's a Dairy Queen, or if it's a park, or if it's a cross street or something, just somehow, anything you want to do, but just have it done before Monday nights. And then you'll just give me the time, and I'll write it down. And at the end of 6 weeks, we're going to have we'll be able to chart your progress. And then with the book learnings that we're going to be doing, we should be able to knock this thing out in 6 weeks, which Kellen remembers it took us at least 12, but then there was the misses and everything. So we were like 13 or 14 weeks. So this, like I said, this is the way to do it, guys.
Can I pop in a second?
Yes.
One thing about when you're choosing your mile, this is, I think, pretty obvious, but let's just say it out loud anyway. Try to choose something that's kind of safe.
Mhm.
It's you don't want to cross major intersections. You want to kind of keep it where it makes sense to run. You're not going to have too many impediments in the way, and don't run through a grizzly bear infested forest or something like that. Just kind of be careful. And it's okay if like at the Scout Hut, for instance, we know, because we've measured it, and we're not going to do it there, but we know that going all the way around that block at the Scout Hut is a 1/4 mile. We know that because we've measured it.
Mhm.
And so you could run that 4 times and you'd have a mile right there. That would be very safe because, there's just no traffic there, and there's no impediments. So, just think about it and be kind of careful. What Lee's trying to say is make sure you've got the same thing. And so, because what we're trying to do is, besides the exercising, we're trying to show that over the course of the 6 weeks, you're going to actually improve your physical condition. At least that's what we're hoping, right, Lee?
Yes. And I've got a couple of sentences on that also. May I add that if you make it to the Scout Hut, going down to Sunset Lake, they have got a beautiful mile marched out there. You got water on both sides there. Corey and I usually ride that almost, every night that we can get down. But if you're over this way, that's a great place to do your mile. Let's see then. If you miss a week, and so that you don't fall behind, just get an adult to watch you do your setups, do the whole series of things, including your mile, and you can just report it to me when you get back that next week. You're going to be reporting your mile anyway. Just add the push-ups, sit-ups, squat throws, and your jump, and we can that way you can catch up immediately. Okay? Any questions on that? Yes.
Okay, so right now has volleyball on Monday nights.
Yeah.
So, because she only practices 2 days a week, maybe we could schedule something that she could either do it like Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that with you, or I can film it and
No, yeah.
Huh?
No, all I need is an adult to observe it and write those numbers down, and I'll definitely give credit for it.
Okay. And then she'll listen to the Zoom meetings as well.
If we can
Leanna.
work it out. Hey, Leanna,
Yeah?
try to get Anna involved in that too.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
You're trying to see how many push-ups, sit-ups, and squat thrusts you can do 1 minute at a time. Like how many
Okay.
push-ups you can do in a minute. So you can time her and
Okay.
help her count and just let her rest a couple of minutes, not too long, and then go into the sit-ups and for a full minute type thing.
Okay.
And one more thing about that is, if you're doing push-ups, you have a minute. If you can do 5, rest, do 5, rest, do 5, there's 15 push-ups right there, and you probably still have 45 seconds left. So just because you can't, and Dan, I know you don't rest.
Well, I'm here talking about you and me, Lee. You're not talking about these young whippersnappers that don't have any strength.
But you don't have to hold your stomach in. We can't see it.
That's
yeah,
my pivot point.
and that's we did do that. You do as many as you can, and I was giving the guys a warning. You've still got 15 seconds left. Knock out another 2 if you can, or something like that. But you have a whole minute on each one of the first 3: push up, sit up, squat thrust, and then the stationary jump. You jump it, you measure it, and I'll just need a total. And then the mile run that you're going to do. So yeah, if you can't make it, get an adult to observe it, write those numbers down for me, and I'll write them down before we start the next meeting, and you'll be caught up, just like boom, you'll be right with everybody. Any questions on that portion? All right, then I'm going to carry on. We talked about missing the meeting, okay? And we also, who you're competing against, and you're competing against yourself. And the 2 things that you keep in mind is the effort that you put into it, and
You only hurt yourself.
well, of course, be honest with yourself. Are you giving it your best effort? So if you get your best effort in there, you will improve. One more question about that. If you've done 6 this week and the following week you do another 6, what could you have done to improve between the 2 weeks?
Run.
Practice.
There you go. I knew somebody'd come up with that. Yeah, so that's another thing. See, when the 6, when we did the every other week, you had 2 weeks to do your practicing and everything. But you can knock out push-up and say, oh, one more thing. If someone has a bad back, if you can't do a regular push-up, if you can't do regular push-ups, you can do a modified one. Instead of coming off of your toes, you can come off your knees. And it's a lot easier, but as a result, you ought to do a lot more of them. But if you cannot do a standard push-up, do them from your knees. But if you decide to do them, either way, be consistent. Do the whole 6 weeks from your toes, or all 6 weeks from your knees. Yes, sir, CJ.
Would it be allowed if we switch between the modified position and the regular position?
That'll confuse your results. So if you do one or the other, I would CJ, you're going to rip off about 25 push-ups from your toes, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to take your first rest. No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's just like that mile run. We want you to do the exact same course. If you're running 9/10 of a mile, if you're a mile and 2/10 or something, just do it the same. So we'll have something to compare it with, and that's what this is. You're comparing your results, and then you'll see improvement or not. And that's what this whole thing is showing improvement. And in other words, you're learning that you do have an opportunity and what you can do to improve your physical, in this case, personal fitness, which in this case is the physical fitness. Any questions? Okay, then what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of book learning with you. And so this week, you really don't have to take notes, though, because this one I'm just going to go through it. It's now the next week we are going to get it's a test. It has 10 questions on it, and we're going to get it up to WebMom, and she's going to send you a copy of it. And just make sure you have that with you every week. And we'll try to knock out like 2 questions a week. And that way we can get it all done in 6 weeks instead of having that 7th week we can use the 7th week for makeup, but we'll get all that done. So it'll be between now and next week, we'll have them sent to you. And if you do, just have a copy of it for next meeting. All right. As I was saying earlier, we're going to break this down into 2 different types of fitness. We were just talking about the physical part. Now we're going to look into I'm going to call it the non-physical. It has to do with your mental health, your whole self, not a measurement of brain waves and stuff, but the way you think, your wellness, your mental wellness. And let's see, the 2 of them are hand in hand, your physical and your non-physical part, because you cannot have success with it in one side without the other. Because if you're not feeling good and you're just out of sorts and everything, you're not going to do your best physically. And just the opposite. If with the problems with physical and everything, you're just not going to be thinking straight either. So they work hand in hand. And when both sides are working together, they function better. And you just have to have both of them working at the same time. Let's see. We're going to do address a healthy body and healthy mind. And one of the things that you can't prevent by willing it, but we are learning through COVID, diseases. That is that's the most destructive thing to the body that you can't do. Now, we're going to work on the physical part, but this is, I'm going to address diseases a little bit here. To get very specific about diseases, that's going to be part of the tests that we're going to be filling out along the way. But right now, I'm going to discuss a self-inflicted problem, and it's drugs. I know y'all have been bombarded with drug education through your school and everything, but I am going to highlight a couple things about it. Anybody heard of the Red Ribbon Week? Anybody participated in that? Ian, can you give me what the Red Ribbon is in 25 words or less?
Closer.
I can see your hands, but I can't hear a word.
He's counting out his words. He wants to make it 25 exactly,
Oh.
just for you.
Red
Go.
Ribbon Week is a week where we tie ribbons to trees to honor the policeman who died in service while taking down drug people.
And that's 25 words.
And that DEA agent is Kiki Camarana, and he did die on duty. He was undercover agent, but the whole thing is aimed at live a drug-free life. And I am going to go over a couple of things physically. Drugs go inhalants. They can damage your lungs. You're not going to go very far with damaged lung. Mood-altering substance. They'll damage your thinking process with the results. You're walking around in a fog, and that can always go lead into a complete mental shutdown if you go do it long enough. And that would contribute to what I referred to earlier as mental health and the thinking process. And another result is you would end up with a lack of desire to produce, because those drugs would become a crutch or rationalization for not producing, not making a living, contributing society. It's they get in the way. Another downside of drugs is jail time. And jail time, AKA, is a criminal record. And that's going to hurt your ability to get a job. And that job is that right hand in hand with what I was talking about, what we were saying. It could be, it could keep you from getting a job, or it could permit you to lose the job you have. And without that job, then you're not going to be contributing to society. As a matter of fact, you'll be just the opposite. You'll be a drag on society. And that's one of the things that we teach, we pound on you scouts is you want to be have a contribution to your community. And so let's go back to that, live a drug-free life. And I know that you've been hit a lot on that. Dan, you got anything you want to add about that?
I was going to add 2 points.
Go.
First of all, some drugs are so dangerous that all you have to do is try them once and you're done. Like heroin, for instance. It's just one and done. And after you take it, the chances are very much more than 90% that you'll be hooked on it for life. The other thing is that we don't talk as much about as we should, but there's the drug crisis. The biggest drug crisis in this country right now is people being oversubscribed for opioids. And the thing is about that is, and that was, I think, a very unethical part of the pharmaceutical industry, pushing these opioids for pain relief with the certain knowledge that people were going to become addicted to them. Then all of a sudden you got these millions of people in this country who've been taking these opioids, and now we've got a big mess on how we're going to try to control it and stop it. And that wasn't necessarily all done by the people making stupid choices. Those were choices that were prescribed to them by their medical professionals. So, it's not just a failure on your part that these things can be led to. It can also be a failure on other people's parts too.
Thank you, sir. And any questions about anything that we covered? Like I said, you guys have been bombarded with that, and in this case, listen. It's very important. And as scouts, you're taught, you learn, you're living a drug-free, and we most highly want to continue to urge you to stay that way. And now I'm going to completely change gears once again, and this has to do with just physical growth. You guys are either about to, in the middle of it, or maybe you've just gone through growth spurts. With growth spurts, you're going to be very uncoordinated, and that's the reason you are uncoordinated, is because you have grown mass in your body and your muscles and your balance and everything just haven't caught up with it. So you're just going to be clumsy right now. That's why it's a tough time of life as far as your athletics and stuff go, because you're just plain awkward. But believe me, you will grow into that body, and it's not so much a passing phase, but in a way it is. It is a passing phase. So when you hit that, just cope where you can. Everybody goes through it. And one of an example is what happens when your voice box grows, and your voice is going to change. Sometimes it gets lower, sometimes it's embarrassing when you're talking and your voice either goes up, down, or it just plain cracks and you're trying to talk. Once again, guys, it's just part of growing up, and that is just that. Y'all are growing up, and you will live through it. And so everybody got their paper and crayon ready? I'm going to give you a review of what we're expecting from you next week. You might have already written it down. If so, just check marks on it. Okay, next week, we want it so that whatever you are participating in, whatever type of screen you're using, get it next, tilt it, whatever, so that you are pointing at the floor, in this case, behind you. Find a place where you have enough room to do these exercises that I'm talking about, but so that we can watch. I mean, don't tear a complete room up, but do find a place where you can, just enough room for these exercises. And so first of all, you find the room for exercising. You aim your screen so that we can observe. Dress for success. Dress in clothes that will allow you to do these exercises. I'll just call them gym clothes, shorts. And since you're not going outside, you can do it barefoot, but do it something that will not restrict your movements, okay? And have your mile. Have it, you've already run it. You've got your times. I'm going to need your time in minutes and seconds. You need to get you a tape. Yes.
Lee, a question on that, minutes and seconds. You mean you want like 10 minutes and 35 seconds? You don't want them to take the 10 times 60, having 635 seconds.
No. Minutes followed by the minutes plus seconds. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. 10 minutes, 5 seconds.
Okay.
And then I will, if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you, because I don't know that I can do that anymore. Okay. Let's see. A tape measure for your jump. Like I said, if don't get yourself in trouble as far as putting tape on something that will leave sticky on it and it'll get you in trouble with your parents. But make a tape for your starting point for your jump, putting your toes behind that measurement and jumping. You want to go as far as you can, but if you have a second person that you can get the measure, that's great, because when you land, they can mark it and you can use your momentum to keep going. If you try to jump and you hit and you fall back and catch it, the mark is where you're the furthest, or the point closest to where you start. So if you jump too far, you got to keep your feet underneath you so you don't fall backwards. Okay? You can, you might want to practice that a couple times so that when we do it, you don't fall on your rear end while we're on camera. So let's see. And as I said, we're going to get those 10 questions, and we're going to get those to Leanna, who will be, WebMom. WebMom will send you a copy of those questions. You'll have them with you, and I'm going to go over, just like I just did with the drug portion, but there's going to be certain things that I'm going to, some of them are going to be lists with an explanation of each word. That's where the diseases come in, the name of the disease and how it affects your body. And there's, as I said, 10 different questions. We'll knock them out. We'll try to keep the book learning on the small size and the exercise part fun. And any questions? Anybody? Looking good. Mr. Dan, with that, I will close out this week.
Okay, so just let me repeat a little bit what I heard you say, okay? Just to
Yes.
make sure that I understood it. So
Okay.
they're going to start we're going to start the meetings. We're not start, but in the meetings next week, they're going to be doing sit-ups. They're going to be doing push-ups. They're going to be doing squat thrusts, and they'll doing the standing broad jump.
Correct.
And that'll all be while we're there watching it. Now
Yes.
the first 3 are 1 minutes, and the last one is just the distance, right? So
Correct.
you're not trying to do as many as you can in 1 minute. You're just trying to get the
Yeah.
best
You're
you
just.
can.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what I also heard is they want to have that whatever they're going to be running, whatever that course is, as close to miles as you can get it. They want to have that thing mapped out and run for the first time.
Yes.
And that you want to have, you don't want them to die doing it, but you want to make sure they're giving good effort to it.
Effort. I mean, you're against yourself. Just give an effort that you'd be proud of.
Yeah. And one little point to that, please. You might think, as scouts, you might think about doing that at the same time of the day. I know that I cannot run nearly as far at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon with that sun beating down on me as I can at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning where it's cool. So that's one of the big changes there too. If you start off running it cool, then you go into the heat for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and yeah, it's gonna impact it. So, but at least trying to get you to do is to try to get as much uniformity in the measurements as you can, so that you can actually track your own progress. And so you want to take all those physical distractors that you can out of it, so you're getting a pretty pure, consistent effort.
And one more thing, may I reiterate, practice these things between now and next week for a couple of reasons. First of all, it'll loosen you up. Second of all, you'll know how to position yourself for the maximum effort, the maximum results, and just do a little practice. And then as we go, you're actually practicing so that you can do more, get your totals up, so that you can have a increase on that graph that I'm going to do for the end of the merit badge.
Right.
Okay, guys?
Yep. And one last thing, Lee's giving you guys as the merit badge counselor a pretty good deal here. 6 weeks versus 12 weeks. That's a good deal, guys.
Real good.
Real good deal. So
Right,
take
Kelly?
advantage of it. That's a COVID deal, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, because it wasn't COVID, we'd be meeting together and you'd be doing it the old way.
We'd
Yes.
be doing the old meeting every other week down at Sunset Lake, doing your push-ups out in the wide open.
Yep.
And also we'd be able to add pull-ups, one of my favorites. But that's here and there. So we're replacing that with squat thrusts. So, any questions?
I just want to double check.
Sure.
How long do we have on the regular exercises, like the push-ups, the sit-ups, the squat thrusts, and I'm at the stationary jump? But what was the?
It'll be those first 3. You'll have 1 minute, and I will. It's like what we'll do is get you into position, and once again, guys, if you've got somebody that can hold your feet down when you do the sit-ups, you can use. You go against their weight, and you can get a lot more sit-ups. However, if you don't have anybody, then you might want to just curl your feet up and put your feet flat-footed as opposed stretched out, and you can do that's the modified sit-up position. But once again, however you do it, I want you to do it the same way every week. Okay, guys? So yeah, 1 minute on the first 3, just a pure distance on the 4th one, and then the actual time on your mile run. It looks like our cat.
CJ, we'll tell you to get ready and then tell you go, and then we'll tell you when to stop. So we'll be timing your minute for you.
But your job is going to be counting your reps.
Yes.
Yes, each person will be counting themselves, unless you've got that second person with you, then you can get them to count for you. But it's definitely able to, each person can do it by themselves. But like I said, if you have a second person, it's nice to have somebody to do your counting for you. That way you can go into the endorphin high. And not
Right, exactly. Hey, just to give you guys a heads up, I'm going to show you how to do a burpee right now. Okay, here goes. Up, yell. Okay. Wow, wasn't that a good burpee?
Yeah.
We got to have the sparkling water. That's how you really get those burpees out.
Yeah, that's my special burpee. Okay, well, one other thing then before we break is I saw an announcement from the Scout office today, which hopefully all you guys saw. If not, I'll try to get Leanna to push it out. They're going to be, instead of summer camp, like a regular summer camp, they're going to be doing a virtual summer camp, a little bit like what we're doing. There's going to be a bunch of merit badges being offered, and there'll be virtual merit badges, a little bit like this, and they're going to cost about $10 a piece, which is not much of anything, right? And so if you're interested in that, there's a registration form, and you can actually get yourself a t-shirt if you want. I have enough scouting t-shirts, so I'm okay with that, but whatever. Anyway.
There goes your Christmas present.
Oh, man. Okay. So anyway, if you guys are interested in that, that's something to do, and it would good timing in that too. And the thing is I haven't looked in the registration material to see what the various merit badges being offered are, but you might want to do that. So Leanna, would you mind, did you see that announcement today? Can't hear you.
No, I didn't read the email today. I saw there was an email, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay, I'm just wondering if it went to everybody, if it just went to leaders. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to, yeah, that's a good, I don't know. But I'll send it
anyway,
out.
Yes, but for people like Anna and people like Lindsay, and you know, it's just a really good opportunity to participate in our council activities.
Yes.
Without having to get right there in the middle of Cronqua.
Right. Sure. I gotta go, guys. Aaron's volleyball is over.
Okay.
Okay.
We're done too.
Bye.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Dan.
Okay, I'll give you a buzz.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Any
Ian.
other questions before we're done?
I was gonna say, Ian, if you can, work on the summer camp merit badges, because that will get you a little bit ahead of some of the other kids in the troop.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're not gonna kill you, okay? For any of you, and it'd be really great for Matthew to do it. It'd be great for Ian to do it. Great for Tate to do it. Great for Addison to do it. Great for everybody who's in that position to do it. Because yeah, just because you've got to, for Eagle, you've got to have a certain number of merit badges, not just the Eagle required ones. And so this gives you a chance to knock some of those out.
Yeah, it's, what's that, about 21, 22 badges, merit badges?
It's 22 now because they added that cooking in.
And see, we just knocked out about 3 and I'm working on the 4th one. That's a whole lot of merit badges. Boy, you knock out another, you know, ask your Eagle up there that's something you want to get done so you're not hanging over your head when you're getting right to the end.
Oh, that is something which happens to people. It's terrible. But one of the things is there's an alternative to environmental science, which I'm trying to talk Charlotte into teaching, and it's called sustainability, which looks to me like a lot of fun. And so I'm going to see if I can get her to teach that one. And that's Eagle required. That'll replace the environmental science. Kellen, why are you putting your thumb up like that?
I don't have 6 months for a badge.
Yeah. Well, you know, the sustainability, it's based like on a month. Okay. So I was looking at it. So what you're supposed to do is we talk together as a group. For instance, here's an idea. What can we do to save water in our personal lives? And so we all just come up with ideas. What can we do that's going to save water, that's sustainable? And then what we do is we talk as a family and we try to see if there's a plan we can implement, and then we follow it for a month. So it's kind of based on those kind of thoughts, but the discussions amongst ourselves about how to have a sustainable life and environment, I think is really very, I think that's actually better than the environmental merit badge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. So
Well,
I
that'd
like
be
to say, I'm try to talk her into that.
that'd be great because that's 2 of your 5 Eagle badges right there. Required.
Yeah, required ones.
Real
Yep.
good stuff right there, guys. Take advantage of it.
Okie dokie.
That's all I
Anybody
got.
else, Vincent? All done?
All right, sounds good.
Next
Bye-bye.
week, guys.
All
Bye.
right, see y'all next
God
week.
bless.
Bye.
Stay
next
healthy.
time. Peace. Likewise.
Bye-bye.